So I'm going to start with the Hello World, the printing text. So this is one of the most basic of programs. And yeah, so I'm first going to start with this part up here. So what is this funny business going on? This is called a comment. The computer ignores this entire part. It also ignores this. So everything that I put in green here, the computer completely ignores. So the computer ignores anything that you write between these symbols. So whatever you write in between, just end them with these as well. So just make sure it's that, then that, and then that, then that. So that's just, it ignores anything between those two. You can see there's more asterisks here, but they're still between these two final things. So this is just basically for neatness. You just do this entire thing. You just say the file name, description, date, and author. Because our tests are being marked with the output and not the comments, so the computer ignores all the comments, we don't have to put this in at all. This is just if you write code for practical. We have a standard thing if we have to copy in there. It's just to give information to whoever is looking at your code. But so far we haven't had to hand in anything with that, so it's not that important. But there's another thing that also makes a comment, so it is these two. If you make two of them, everything after that on the same line gets ignored. When you press enter, it just goes on with the program, so you don't have to put something at the end again. Our module prefers we write comments like this instead of these, because we can for the first comment they prefer we do this because it's a long comment over multiple lines. But if we're just saying something that is happening in the program, they prefer we use this one because it's much quicker and easier to read. It's just easier on the eye. It's just good practice. And commenting your code is also just helps you when you're trying to see what's going on. If something goes wrong and just, what on earth was I trying to do here? You can just check, okay, so this is where the main function starts. Okay, that makes sense. So that's basically it for comments. Just remember these. So the next thing that you see is it says hash, no, is it hash? Yeah, it's hash include, and then this funny thing. So this just means we should include a library. It's called a preprocessor directive. It's not important that you know the name, but it includes code written by other people. So instead of you writing code, so when you say to printf something, so basically you want the computer to write out something, instead of telling the computer, okay, whatever I put in here, you must write that on the screen and that on the screen, and then when I say new line, you must gather that, and then you just write printf, and then someone else already wrote the code that tells the computer what to do when it sees this. So in order to use things like this, you have to include that code written by other people. Just want to check how to write out the other one that we usually use. Okay, there's the other one that we use. I'm not sure why there's different ones, but I'm just going to erase this. So sometimes, for safety, always use these both. You also say include stdlib.h. So you put them in between these two symbols. These are the libraries you want to include, and they usually use all the functions that we're going to be calling. And we say hash include before them. Sometimes you can also say hash include another function that you wrote yourself, but I'll get to that later. So yeah, that is what's going on there. Int main. So before you write any program, or actually, yeah, before you write any program, you need to just write int, and you write main with two parentheses, and then do a curly brace, and then everything that you want to happen, you write inside this first curly brace, and then you end it with another curly brace. This is just to do with functions. So computer or code, when it's executed, just executing functions, and the function that you're executing is the thing that you write in here. So just remember, always say int main and write everything between these two braces. So what we want to do today is to print out the words hello world. So the printf statement is like this. You write out printf in lowercase. Okay, first, before I go on, I just want to say, writing in lowercase and uppercase really makes a difference. So you have to make sure you're writing in lowercase. The computer won't recognize this function if you write in uppercase. So your actions are case sensitive. With that being said, you always just have to type out print if, make a parenthesis, make those double quotation marks, whatever you want to write inside, close the quotation marks, and then close the parenthesis. And then after any action, you must always give a semicolon. So always give that, otherwise it will not run. Obviously, you don't have to say that here because these aren't actions. These are just including the libraries, and this is just this is a function. It's not really telling it to do anything. This is telling it to do something. So after each action, so if you were also to say in the computer x gets x plus 1, we'll get to that later, but if you say that, that won't run unless you unless you put a semicolon afterwards. Okay, so you can see inside these quotation marks there's this weird thing. So what this is, it's a \n, and that just tells the computer when it's printing out whatever's going on, make a new line. So whatever happens next will happen on the new line. So that's just a new line thing, and it has to be inside the the quotation marks. After you're done telling the computer everything you want it to do, you type out return and then 0 with a semicolon. This just shows us the program ended successfully. The code will actually work without it, but this just tells you, it's good practice. It just tells you that it's when you finish running the program, it will say 0, or this program returns 0 or something like that, and then you know it's run to the end, so it's done. Yeah, so just want to say something about these braces again. These braces, they indicate a block. So the bodies of all functions must be contained inside these braces, so they're all in a block. This is a function. This function is the program that we're writing. So any program we write, like I said, int main, brace, write everything in here, and then you're good to go. Everything after this, okay, the next thing I want to say is just for just a style thing. So everything after your int main is indented. So that's that tab key. You just make, so you can see this big space here, and then after you're done, this brace here is in line with this first one. It's just for neatness, and you can see what happens each time. So yeah, that is the basic printf statement. I'll go into more detail about the rest in the next video.